Welcome to pattern making class. I'm Annette Julie, and today we're going to be learning how to make a flutter sleeve. So here are some of the tools that you can use. Don't worry if you don't have all of them, you might have some. A curve ruler, pattern weights. If you don't have pattern weights, maybe some little cans could work for you. Pencil, sharpener, pattern awl, pen, your eraser, your paper scissors, a notcher, a ruler. I prefer this 2 by 18 clear plastic ruler over something like this, but if this is what you have, then you get to use that. And some tape. The Scotch Magic tape is the best for pattern making. And if you need to erase a whole bunch, it's really nice to have this to dust away everything. So let's go ahead and clear our supplies. Okay, now you need a basic bodice sleeve. You also need some pattern paper or a type of paper that's butcher block quality or some brown wrapping paper. You can also use tracing paper, and you can use 8.5 by 11 Xerox paper that you can tape together. So many different options. You could even use muslin if you didn't have any paper at all. Let's go ahead and grab a writing implement and our scissors. We're going to be making a short sleeve, so I don't need this full length of paper. And this piece of paper we'll save for our next project. Let's crease that paper to find the middle. And let's take your ruler. And let's go ahead and draw your grain line. Now, I prefer you pattern make in pencil. But I like to pattern make in ink so my students can see my lines. Let's go ahead and draw a grain line. And now we're going to take our basic bodice sleeve. And I'm going to go ahead and use my awl, and I'm going to poke a couple holes in here on my grain line that I can use as reference points. So I did this up about 3 inches right here at the elbow dart and on the bicep line. I could put one in the middle here if I felt like it or not. Now this is for tracing off sleeves, sleeve blocks at all different lengths. So, like I said, I don't need a lot, but I need enough. Now here's my pen going through, and I have to see if that's lined up with my grain line. And I have to move it over a little bit. So I'm going to keep it the same up here at the top, move it over, it looked like about 1/8 of an inch. You can weight down your block at this point. And we can see that that little hole is right now, since I adjusted it, on the grain line. And we can check it with our pen. Yeah, that looks really good. Now we can go ahead and trace off our sleeve cap. Our front notch, some underarm, our back sleeve cap, our back notches, and some of the underseam. There we go. That's all we need. We've traced off as much as we need now. You can put your block aside. Go ahead and grab your ruler, and let's draw in your bicep line. This is the back because we have 2 notches. This is the front. We have our single notch, and if you can't see your notches, put little U's over them. Here's our grain line. This is our bicep line. And here's our notch 1/4 of an inch forward of the sleeve of the grain line, which it always should be there. So this notch gets sewn into our shoulder seam. Right there, right into the shoulder seam. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to fold this down the grain line. I'm going to go ahead and put a weight on it. And I'm going to start to cut out my underseam of the sleeve. And I don't need a lot of that either. Let me trim that off. So I cut out the underseam of the sleeve. And right here is our bicep line, and then we go into the sleeve cap. So let's see if we give this a cut here. If that's going to go from the back to the front. Yeah, that looks nice and neat on the same line. Good. Let me go ahead and cut that out. There's my back cap. Here's my front cap. If you're not exactly perfect cutting out the line, it's okay. I'm almost perfect. Good enough. There we go. We've cut out our cap. Now, we only really need about 2 inches past our bicep, but this can be another style choice. You could add a full 4 inches if that's how you want to make your flutter sleeve, or a puff sleeve at the bicep. We're going to add fullness down here where you can let it flutter out, or you can add elastic and gather it in. Nothing at the top for now. We'll make this no gathering at the top and the flutter at the bottom. So we've added our 2 inches. Like I said, you can add 4. I'm just going to start with 2. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to section off our sleeve. And so we really want to divide it up pretty much almost in thirds. That looks really good. You don't never want to put too much fullness right there underneath your armpit. That's your armpit area where this joins the other part of the sleeve. Right there is your side seam. So I just sort of folded that up there. So just to give you a measurement, looks like it was about 1 7/8. If you want, we can draw that. Okay, well now we're going to go ahead and slash this. I'm going to put this on another piece of paper. When I start to slash something, I quite often want to number this just in case the pieces get disorganized. So we have pattern piece number 1, 2, 3, and 4 for now. We have pieces on the other side, but this will be good. Good to start. And we're going to slash from the hem that we created up to the cap. Try to leave that together. And again, from the hem up to the cap, and stop them about 1/8 of an inch or so away. And we have one more. We're going to be taking this and adding fullness at the bottom, the opposite of what we did for the last sleeve demo. Grab your piece of paper that you're going to place that onto. And I'm going to spread mine out, 1 inch or so between each piece. You can always have more fullness at the front, less fullness underneath your arm. So let's see how this fits on here, if I have enough room. Yeah, I think that'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and crease that, show myself where the middle is. I'm going to draw a grain line. I'm going to go ahead and crease it and fold it on the grain line. I'm going to take that back half of my sleeve and I'm going to place it on my grain line. And I can adjust how much I want to space in between each segment that I have slashed. We're keeping that cap together. I might do something like this, where I've spaced this just 1 inch on the fold, so that would really be 2 inches, because we've got the other half underneath. 2 inches, 2 inches, and then maybe another inch. And then we would blend that. But we could even do this with more. I could make that 2 inches. And that could be more like 3. And 3. And 2. And this turns into a little bit of a more exaggerated S, and then we blend the whole hem. Okay, so let's go back to our first option. A little bit less exaggerated. I'm just going to spread that 1 inch. I'm going to grab some of my tape. And I'm not spreading anything at the sleeve cap. So I'm going to tape that down at 0. And then down here at the hem, like I said, I'm going to go a little bit more conservative on my flutter. I'm going to go just that 1 inch. And on the other side there'd be 1 inch, so that's a full 2 inches. So here I would do 2 inches. And nothing at the cap. So let's tape that cap down. Okay, go ahead and tape down your hem. Let's do another 2 inches. Nothing at the cap. Tape that down and the 2-inch spread at the hem. And then as you're getting close to the side seam and the underarm, you can always be a little bit more conservative. I'll just go 1 inch. Now I have the shape. Looks really good. But let's go ahead and blend it. It's got a couple of points. We blend right here. Let me blend right there. I'm going to flip the ruler. I'm going to blend the top of the cap. Make sure that's a nice, smooth, continuous line. I blended here, went up there a little, went up. Now we're going to blend the bottom, the hem. So this naturally wants to make a curve, and we're going to connect it with a curve. And we can see our curved hem. And you can keep these pieces on for reference if you'd like, or take them off at this point. I'll keep them on for reference so that we can see how it's made. And I'm going to add now my 1/2 inch hem. This is a curve, it's a portion of a circle. A nice small hem where you could turn this up quarter. It's really nice. 1/2 inch on the underseam of the sleeve, and of course a 1/2 inch in the cap. And this